Alright. World record. Sub 10 finally. Right off the bat, you just love to see it. Pausing to scout out the area. He's looking for lava pools when he does that. He's got one so
epic.
close to this village. What he doesn't have is a river. There's a river over here, but that's 10 years away, right? So he's looking for a village, he's looking for a lava pool, he's looking for ruined portals, he's looking for a river. Just anything like that. Um, he doesn't have a river between him and the lava pool, so he has to waste time finding the river or something, right? The reason you want a river is for gravel, so you can light the portal. Pretty standard. Dude, I saw people sussing him because of getting apples, dude. The way that he got them. Because he does the fast looting. They were like, oh, how did he get those apples out of the chest? It's a stretch, dude, yeah. So he's got 3 bread. This is like minor, but I think when you're a world record guy, getting small amounts of bread, or just less hay bales, I mean, is like good, right? Because I see a lot of people get like 6 hay bales, or even like 8 hay bales. I think it was the Sizzler world record, ate like 9 bread. Well, no, I think it was 8 bread. So from that, I only get 4 hay bales. But really, like Sizzler only ate 8 bread. Um, I don't know how much food Brent's eaten in this run. But it was very relieving to see him not get 6 hay bales. Because you just don't need it. I think he was just kind of scouting out the area. Also, earlier he checked his pie chart and there was no blacksmith, which makes the village almost faster to run. I don't know. I don't. He checked his pie though. It was at the bottom right. He checked his pie. There was no furnace, which means there's no blacksmith, which means you just run the village straight up. When there's a blacksmith, a lot of people are tempted, including myself, to run to the blacksmith first, but it ends up being a time loss when you have to run past beds just to get to the blacksmith, and then you want to pick up the beds later anyway. So he's almost yeah, I don't know. It's easier to loot a village when there's no blacksmith almost. But he has, like, while he was scouting out the village, he skipped this house and the house previous that has like easier accessible wood and stone. It seems like a small thing, but it's quite a pain getting stone out of the bottom of this house since there's not much of it there. I think I recall he had some kind of trouble with it. No, he didn't. But there can be issues that derives from that.
What the?
And then this.
Shit.
I always lead my golem somewhere else where where it doesn't happen. I think he's just obviously just speedrunning, right? Let's kill the golem. Because how much time loss is really connected to this golem? I think he misses a hit. Yeah, there's the missed hit, and then that's a half hit, not a crit. And then item RNG, 127.
Cool, dude.
And he's pissed about it. He knew it was like happening in the moment. So lost 9 seconds to the iron falling down the hole. Which is pretty crazy, dude. Gets these carpets. So you want carpets because since he didn't have a river, he's got no river, he's got no gravel anywhere. You get carpets so that you can light a flintless portal. If you've got no flint, it's better to just try and do flintless. Carpets light faster than just regular wood. So you can see if you search Fyro carpet portal, carpet flintless portal, um, there's some very fast flintless portals. So that's why I got the carpets. Um, Also, he's leaving the village with 2 beds. So like, world records have had different amounts of beds that they leave a village with. Obviously, running to each house takes a fair amount of time, and running to each house just to get a bunch of beds doesn't pay off if you get the string out of the bastion anyway. If you get enough beds out of a bastion, or enough string out of the bastion to make enough beds, then every bed that you over collected in the village is obviously going to be time loss. Rain left his village with no beds. Sizzler left the village with 4 beds, and that kind of thing. Brent leaves with 2. I think it's just proximity related why he made that decision. What's this, William? I didn't know that happened. Because no other houses are very easy to get to. He's fast tracking it back to the lava pool. Is it 2 beds or 3 beds? Effie no beds as well, yeah. And now another thing is he's front loading on wood. So he's getting wood at the start of the run. Since he's only got 2 beds, yeah, he wants to make some beds later on. If you got a really good blind travel, theoretically, right? Imagine you end up in a stronghold and you just need to break a tree so that you can make more beds, right? Imagine if you ended up in the stronghold and you had no trees around you. You'd lose your run on the spot. You'd have to like dig to the surface, you'd have to, it'd be so, or you'd have to go to a library or something to like break each plank. It'd just be a real pain. Or even like some blind travels, right? You end up in the ocean and the stronghold's there. And you like either there's no island and you just take the L, or there's an island like far away and you have to boat to it and then boat to the stronghold. There's just all kinds of time loss that comes with not doing this front loading on logs. There's a lot of runners, a lot of top runners who don't front load purely for the reason of can't be bothered. You could almost say that getting an iron axe or something would be a time save, but it's just not worth the risk. Like I think it saves on like 1 second for every 8 logs or some nonsense. Between like stone axe and iron axe or something. It's something crazy like that. It's something just completely irrelevant. Or like compared to wood axe. Part of another discussion, front loading with a wood axe is faster than an iron axe at a shipwreck because of how you have to swim around in the water. Because that's another way you can get wood in an ocean, is by going to a shipwreck and getting wood that way. But even that is slower. It just takes a lot of time. So getting a lot of wood, not only is it for getting beds, you can also just place them as well. Breaking 1 log gives you 4 blocks, which is faster than like breaking netherrack or something, as far as I know. Since breaking one of these gives you 4 blocks versus 1 netherrack into 1 netherrack. So there's just so many good reasons to front load. And it pays off because he's entering the nether with 2 beds. His nether has no trees in it, like no tree biomes. And ends up in a stronghold, so it pays off. Dude, if someone was backloading Barry and ended up there, dude, if they lost a run to that I'd never let them hear the end of it. And he's still looking around. He's looking for gravel and everything, just in case. Flintless has the potential to not work. So
Hi.
thanks for the resub, dude.
C_Nix just subscribed. 2 months FU engineer.
Flintless portal with carpets is good, but it's not totally consistent. Like sometimes it's just straight up faster, but not always. Sometimes you'll lose minutes to it. A lot of people have had PBs using flintless that have taken way too long. So the carpets didn't matter, but it was still a safe play. It turned out to be a time loss, but in his defense, there was no visible gravel easily accessible.
Oops, why did I do that?
So
Whatever.
3-minute enter at a village like this is not totally impressive. Like a lot of people are resetting for these kind of enters for world record. Really, we get a lot of 2:30 enters at villages with lava pools, quite often. And with like Shipwreck Magma Ravine, we get a whole lot of 2:30s or even low 2 enters. So if we're thinking to the future, a 251 nether entry is pretty slow. It's very easily improved on. Like there's like a free like 20 to 30 seconds or 20 to 50 seconds even that can be saved just on entering the nether earlier. Epic pause moment. The pausing's funny. Jojo's better
Yeah.
at pausing, but Brent is pretty good at pausing as well. Just amazing seed. Gets the fossil. I've got a short video about how this fossil works already on my YouTube, and I'm gonna have a longer video on it soon, on how he knows where the stronghold is based on this fossil. Yeah, he says it's 8, and that's the end of it. Now he just needs to bring up the table on all of the different fossil coordinates and everything, and then he'll be able to be very close to the stronghold. Already got a bastion, already got a fortress. Just amazing run, really. Like, it could have been 30 seconds faster, could have been like 50 seconds faster entering the nether. Then you start thinking about ruined portals and that. Like, imagine entering sub 1 with a ruined portal. There's still a whole lot of time to be saved in this category. It's far from dead.
Hi, Vororb, you're just in time for the run of my life. Look at this shit. Bruh.
I love this quote, dude.
Hi, Vororb, you're just in time for the run of my life. Look at this shit.
The run of his life, dude. True. Chad, can you imagine this? Count off how many runners in your head would place a block here. He's got a Bastion Fortress at a sub 3 enter with Divine. How many runners would place a block or even like start bridging here, you know? That's pretty funny. It's just raw confidence, right? Like, he's a runner. There's a lot of top runners, dude, that'd start bitching out early. Needlessly died, yeah, but you've learned from it. Dude, what I feel bad about is that everyone else is VIP except for Brand for like a long time. How does Ice get VIP before Brand, dude? Um, Yeah, so he's just got confidence, which is a big part of this run because you'll see in a lot of PBs, there's time loss to just caution, just scared shitless of the run and starts doing things slowly.
Thank God.
But Brent does not have that a lot in this run. There is not a lot of time lost due to just caution. So this is top-down housing. A lot of people suck at it. And it really just, it's disgusting to watch. A lot of people suck at top-down housing because the point of it is that you get 3 chests, which gives you so much reliability on obsidian. The point of a bastion, we can get pearls anywhere, right? But we can't get 10 obsidian anywhere. The point of a bastion is to get obsidian. When people skip on chests and bastions, it's just not making any sense. We can get pearls in classic, but we can't get 10 obsidian in a classic run, which is why we run bastions. Well, not even fire is. We don't need fire as in a blaze fight. So this is the correct play. This is the correct way to play top down. A lot of bad runners, I'll just call them bad runners, they just break any of these 3 chests and leave. But you get, there's 2 whole chests here that take very little time. You get obsidian and like armor in that. That's just great. Pays off. Boom. Look at all that obsidian. He needed iron. He's got it now. How much did he actually get? Because that's the other thing. He's entered without an iron pickaxe. But with top-down housing, it's like free. It's just so nice. An extra 5 iron. So iron pick is secured. With 4 obsidian, you've got just a great chance of getting your 10 obsidian just off of trades alone now. Bobic, thanks for the resub.
69 Bobic 69 just subscribed. Yok4 Dono Wall 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 Yok4 Dono Wall.
Thank God. That saves so much
And
time.
has the armor as well. Armor isn't totally necessary, but it's nice to have. And then breaks the single. Just plays it perfectly. Niku, thanks for the resub.
N1Q7 just subscribed. Nightbot has gifted 5 subs to viewers. Keck to activate.
8 obsidian already, yeah. It's just, this is the only way of playing top down. Oh, thanks for the resub.
For just subscribed. K4 more like pay for. Pay for my message to be read on a wall.
Even like I see some runners when they do top down housing, they just punch a pig. They don't even open one of the chests. Yeah, clearly Brent is like good at the game. CXKZ, thanks for the resub.
XKZ just subscribed.
6 months.
Yo, can I get a welcome to the jungle?
Another yellow flower. Just he plays properly, you know? There's good play, correct routing, just everything's just good in this. Do you loot all the chests if it's double triple? I don't know, that's hard. Because it takes a fucking long time to do that. Artemis, thanks for the resub.
Artemis64 just subscribed. Yo K4 donor wall.
It takes a long time to get all the chests. And I'm not sure about it. I think you could do like, you could do this side, this right side, and then do left side and do Tifu route. I've got a video of how to do the Tifu route on my unlisted playlist. That's probably the way to do it. But yeah, when there's so many chests, I mean, you should just do it based on how much obsidian you get.
S4 Bling donated $3 Australian. Hi YouTube Dono Wall.
Yeah, like once you've got a certain amount of obsidian, you leave the chests and you don't need any more.
Take that.
Well, he doesn't break another thing here. He could have punched a pig or broken Gilded Blackstone on the way down to aggro pigs earlier, to get the trades earlier. Usually at this intersection, people either punch a pig or break a Gilded Blackstone somewhere. You can get Gilded Blackstone out of a chest. And just offhand it, which is how the Tifu route works. Yeah, you can aggro more pigs earlier if you do something here. So that's a slight error. But it doesn't really impact it that greatly. Keeps the pigs trading. A lot of people, including myself, are lazy with throwing gold to them. He plays it really well.
I'll probably leave really soon.
He's got so much obsidian, so much gold. He's got armor and everything. Just absolutely chilling. This is a prophylactic play using the chest. Most people just throw junk items away, but if you use a chest, if you accidentally throw something away like pearls or something, you don't need to pick up everything all over again. You can just take it back out of the chest again. So that's always good. There's risk of it in that if a random pig walks down and you open the chest, it you'll aggro the pig. But other than that, this is like just a nice way to not lose time. Prevent time losses, basically. It's just chilling on everything, dude. 3 fire res, 2 stacks of pearls, string, already has beds, task overlap, the fire res with ticking through the wall.
Yeah, I didn't think that would make it.
Like a 530 or so bastion exit.
There.
The pearl's hard. It's a far way to throw a pearl.
I'm not looking at chat. Don't fucking kill me, please.
Pretty standard. Wait, when was the render distance drop? Did I miss that? I didn't miss that, did I? When did he do that?
Yeah, I didn't think that would make it. I should have gone
Was
on
it
the
inside?
fucking pillar there.
I did miss that? Dude, I knew it was somewhere around here. Yeah, there it is. So, drops the render distance. This is called spawnerless, or low RD, spawn manipulation. True, he's running vanilla, that's funny. I'm pretty sure he's actually got fabric, but he's not using sodium or anything. I think that's what he said. Could be wrong. So you want to drop render distance because mobs can spawn anywhere within what, I think 16 chunks, or is it 18 chunks of you? 8 chunks, I mean. Somewhere between 8 and 16 chunks. Which is very far away, right? You don't want to run to something that's 8 chunks away or 16 chunks away or whatever it is. With dropping your render distance, 128 blocks, yeah. With dropping your render distance, it compresses your mob cap to only be around, like, closer to you. So there can be 70 hostile mobs in the world, not including piglins and some other, what, bastion piglins and some other things. So if you're in a fortress, you can, if you have regular render distance, like 16 or something, or 8, you'll have those 70 mobs within, 16 chunks of you, which is pretty far away. But if you drop your render distance all the way down, you'll have 70 mobs within whatever distance you set this at. A quirk of Soul Sand Valleys is that you'll notice that in ordinary Soul Sand Valleys, there's not 70 skeletons. So the game, I don't know exactly how it works, but there's kind of like a throttling almost on how many mobs can be in a Soul Sand Valley, so that there's not 70 ghasts or 70 skeletons or that kind of thing. But so when you have that, when you have a Soul Sand Valley that has the mob cap basically throttled, and then you have a fortress in the middle of the Soul Sand, you have all of the mobs inside the Soul Sand. Like if you do low render distance in like a Nether Wastes or a Crimson Forest or something, not all of the mobs are going to spawn in the fortress. They're going to spawn on the ground. Like hoglins are going to spawn and piglins are going to spawn and everything. But in Soul Sand Valleys and in Warped Forest as well, actually, because there's not 70 Endermen in warped forests. All of the spawns of your mob cap get basically compressed to the fortress, and then if you have a lower render distance, it gets compressed even more. So that's what he's doing.
I'm not looking at chat.
And the term spawnerless is real. There's actually no spawner used. This is a world record with no blaze spawner at all. He doesn't even see a blaze spawner. People have had sub 1 fortress splits with spawnerless already. Like I think Davey, I don't know, there's a number of people who have had a diamond sword. Look how many blazes there are. 2 up here, 3 here, 1 there, there's another up here. If you have a diamond sword, you can just shred through a fortress super quickly. Yeah, Davey's had a 30-second fortress. This run was a little over a minute. Because the spawning wasn't excellent. I usually have 4 render distance. He's opted for 5. The spawning is still a little slow. It doesn't just place 70 mobs around you. It just tries to place them around you, and then eventually it fills the mob cap. So the reason he's not using something like 2 render distance is because the game actually just struggles to place 70 mobs around you within 2 chunks of you, which is why we don't use 2 render distance for this. We use like 4 or 5, so that they actually do manage to spawn. But if you're like sitting at a spawner or something, you may as well use 3 or even 2 render distance. We still get spawns with 2ID, just not as consistently. He'd probably have more compressed spawns. Did that guy just spawn? Oh no, he was there before. I thought he just loaded in.
Come on. There's so fucking many. I'll just get these ones.
He doesn't even go to the regular bridge part of the
Whatever.
fortress.
Play it
He's
safe.
staying in the hallways. That's just so great. It kind of messes up the blazes a bit
Fuck
here.
off, please.
But he's nervous, so increases render. Because he's got 6 rods. He's gone. So he's thinking about blind,
Dude, I have
going to
fucking
150,
divine
150, but then he remembers he's got divine travel. So he was just purling to 150,
Where was it?
150 before
It
he
was at 8.
realized, or remembered,
travel. It was at 8, right?
that he
Should I
had
go
that
check the
fossil at
VOD?
spawn.
It was at 8. There's one negative.
You don't check the VOD that quickly, and it's not cheating.
I need to go
You have,
southwest.
right now I've got 500 viewers who could be checking the VOD, but
Well,
having a
not
Twitch
bad,
chat
not that
open is
bad.
not cheating.
Okay.
Do we have... Let me try and... Alright, so there's 2 sets that we've released on divine travel coordinates. So ordinarily, we use safe divine travel coordinates. The way divine travel works is we use one thing and it gives us an angle. Which means we're only going to whiff on the distance. Regular blind travel, we can whiff on the angle and the distance, which is why we use like 216 or 220. Because it's a statistically 216 is the best for being close to a stronghold. If you whiff on both angle and distance. Well, considering we can whiff on both angle and distance, but the perk of divine treble is that we only really whiff on distance, not really on angle. There's 16 sectors. I mean, there's 16 angles. That's the width. It's not a calculator, it's a picture. So normally we use this. But he uses high roll coordinates. So high roll coordinates, technically the stronghold is more likely, ever so slightly, to generate towards the inner part of the ring rather than the outside part of the ring. Because of circle reasons. Because of... Alright, how do I... Alright, you have to imagine a pizza slice. towards the crust is wider. Towards the inner part of the pizza slice is not as wide. So it's harder to whiff on distance earlier on in the ring than later in the ring. But the problem with this is since you're at the inner part of the pizza rather than since you're at the bottom of the pizza rather than the middle of the pizza, there's higher chance of whiffing completely on distance, but there's also a higher chance on perfectly hitting the stronghold. So safe chords are going to be, there's still a good chance that you'll hit inside the stronghold. We've got a lot of seeds where doing safe chords puts you inside the stronghold. And if it's bad distance, it's still going to be okay. Like 790, it's not very good, but you can PB on it with a lot of blinds. Yeah, this can be really bad. High roll coordinates can be really bad, but they can also be really good, such as in this run where he uses high roll coordinates. No one uses high roll coordinates. He's like the only person I think I've ever seen actually use high roll coordinates in a run. Because usually if we're on the sub 8 blind pace...
You can do fucking calculated as well.
If we're on sub 8 blind pace, normally we're not going to do this. We're going to play something safe. But he plays for the high roll.
Dude.
Imagine you're at 8 minutes, dude.
I can't pause. I can't pause. They might time pauses.
0 I.
Plenty of string.
I don't know if he did it on purpose or not, but he played this properly. Like he went to the correct side of the end. Because you want to go on the opposite side of the dragon. So he's got 7 beds. So you'd be pretty comfy. Remembers to fire res. Full health.
Dude.
Z64 is a bit early, but it's a bad island. And Fireball just pops behind him, so I can't really blame him. And the hotbar management's pretty funny. Only 5 beds on the hotbar. Honestly, this is a calm 1 cycle.
Dude. What? Dude. Oh my god. Dude. So, what? What the fuck? Oh my god, man.
Like, that was a confident 1 cycle.
Dude.
It was almost a 4 bed. Look how close this was to being a 4 bed. Like, there was no chance of him choking that. Um, and this was sub 10 pace, so I don't think anyone can have any excuses on choking 5 beds anymore. Because this he was on sub 10 pace and barely missed the 4 bed to height. What a gamer. Shaking a ton, came extremely close to pearling or placing lava, yeah. Yeah, the hot bar as he one cycles, yeah. But dude, the beds were exploding at the right time. Like, any nerves weren't shown on the one cycle. The hot bar might be shaky, but the dragon was killed. Taught him how to one cycle? Wait. Holy fuck, I did! Bro, I taught this guy how to one cycle. Oh my god. Well, no way, dude. That was ages ago. Was that like 6 months ago or some shit? It must have been, dude. Dude, what the fuck? I can't believe you remember that. It was around the time of Simply's tournament, dude. Yeah, you were there. Fortune was there for when I taught Brent how to one cycle. Had no clue. K4 came and taught me while he was recovering from a appendectomy. True. How do you remember that detail? That I was out of the hospital. I might have been in the hospital actually. I don't know. That's funny. Fucking hell. And then you're like, yo, watch this. And he started pearling and breaking the crystals with ender pearls. I was like, yo, wicked. Added you to Saw. And then Brent got a sub 10 on a seed from a viewer, a guy in this chat. Hey mate, some people might know the name. He got a sub 10 on that seed. Um, he's like one of the first people to say, "Hey, this is like totally possible," and then he's actually the first person to get it as well. Um, that's funny. The way I ran that was bullshit, but the seed turned out to have divine trouble. What do you mean? What was wrong with the run? I think this is a comfortable run. Oh, right, the Haymate seed, yeah. That seed turned out to have divine trouble. Dude, that's so funny. That's the same as the Davy seed. Davy had a seed ages ago with a Bastion at spawn with divine travel to the stronghold as well, actually. Do you have that seed? Does someone have the Davy seed? The Davy, dude, we've actually had multiple Bastion at spawn fossil seeds. This is like at least the third one. There might have been four. There might have been even more than that. Davies was a long time ago. Haymates was a long time ago, and then obviously there's this one, the Brent one. Sizzler, yeah, Sizzler had Fastrin at spawn with Bone, but skipped it.
S4 Bling donated $3 Australian. This is crazy. No one believed sub 10 is possible, but you always do. And your student get a sub 10 world record. Feels strong, man, clap.
There's still time to be saved. The fortress was obviously pretty fast, but it can be faster. There's been 30-second. There's been sub 1 fortresses. There's been 30-second fortresses. When was the exit? $7:44.
I'm not looking at chat.
It's like a minute and a half. Minute and 40 seconds, right? Wait, minute 34 or whatever, which is pretty long. Even just a blaze bedded spawner can be faster than that with 6 for 6. It's really not that difficult to sub one a fortress, really. Like a double spawner or a blaze bed single spawner with good spawns. You only need like 6 for 8 or something. You'd think no, man, but it's too difficult. No, it's really hard to spawn in the portal room. Even when you scout the seed, it's really hard to it's really hard to end up in the portal room. Ending up in these 4 ways is really easy though, because obviously there's a lot of room for it. These 4 ways. Yeah, there still hasn't been a looting world record yet, but honestly, you don't even need it. FSG has looting swords with slower fortress splits than some RSG fortresses. Obviously, looting's pretty fast, but it's not absolutely necessary yet. Spawning is much more likely, yeah. It's like a 25% chance or like 30% chance or something. I don't have the biome numbers. Biomes in the Nether aren't perfectly uniformly distributed. Nether Waste is the most common biome. Warped Forest is the least common, and Solstan Valley is somewhere in between. But if you get Solstan Valley or Warped Forest Fortress, you can just drop the render distance and do spawnerless. Yeah, it works pretty well in Lava Lakes. Or Lava Sea Fortresses, as they're called. But as soon as you have some terrain somewhere, they're just gonna spawn there like crazy. So the overworld was pretty slow. Didn't spawn inside the village. When was the actual village entry time? Like 16 seconds or something? So there's 16 seconds to be saved there, just on having a better spawn. Iron Golem proximity is okay, but then there's 9 seconds lost to the iron falling down. Waste a few seconds on, so what, 143? Yeah, waste a few seconds on getting carpet that doesn't end up being used.
Hi.
Gravel proximity isn't epic. It's kind of far. Could be better. There could be a river between the village and the lava pool. So there's another like 10 seconds or so there. So the overworld could be, you know, like 20 seconds, 30 seconds faster. This is just on like future runs or just an analysis of this run. Spawned pretty close to the bastion. I mean, I think this is probably as good as you can really expect. Spawning inside bastions is pretty unlikely.
That saves so much fucking time.
You can spawn at the bottom of a normal floor housing, which I've had before. I've left a housing at 407 before. So he's actually leaving a bastion pretty late. It was a sub 8 blind, right? Or sub 8 divine. Which is honestly late. $8.06. It's not even sub 8. Davey has had 4 sub 8 blinds. Some of them, I think 2 of them are sub 730. Rainix, Sizzler, and Sempers have had sub 7 blinds. So this is like a minute and 20 seconds, or even more than that, slower leaving the nether than some other runs that have happened. It's just they haven't had divine. Actually, one of them had divine but wasn't used. Sizzler had divine but didn't use it. It didn't end up being good divine anyway, but Sizzler could have had like a sub 9 if he used divine, and it ended up the same kind of situation as Brent, which is pretty funny. Yeah, even just having like Sizzler's world record blind, where you just, or like Gavin blind, how you blind travel and you're above the stronghold, and then just swim down to the portal room, because you don't need to end up in the stronghold. You just need to be very close to it. Sizzler's best blind had divine, but he skipped it because he doesn't use it, which is obviously a fatal error, but a lot of people have ended up in the stronghold or even close to it. He just is slow to things, Wipeout. Like there's like what, 3 sub 15s that end up in the stronghold, I think, because there's no, maybe not 3, but I know there's a UK guy who's got one. There's Feinberg who's got one. There's like sub 16s that have them. Fulham had one. Some other people have had them as well. Or even just like, we can basically consider Gavin Blind to be inside the stronghold for these purposes. It seems to be far more likely than we'd think to end up in or perfectly above the stronghold. In the super early days of Hypermodern, Fire had a run where he was like 20 blocks away or something ridiculous from the stronghold. But he threw his eyes late and then like ended up running too far and had to go all the way back to his portal and then dig down. It was like within like a chunk or something. There's a lot of people who have been super, super close. Sub 100 distance. So there's like just a lot of time to be saved, really. Category's far from dead. There's faster bastions, there's faster fortresses, there's faster overworlds. End games don't really get much faster than this, but they kind of do at the same time. 951 to 1109. So a little over a minute, right? A minute and 18 seconds, is it? Yeah. Which is kind of slow. You can have sub 1 ends. A lot of people have had sub 1 ends. Set seed has like 45-second ends. So there's faster ends as well. There's still a lot to go. And there's a lot of strats that just aren't used yet. It's good that Divine's being used. That ups the consistency of ending up at the stronghold by a lot. But there's things like people run slow routes in bastions. People still run Ninja Brain route, which is like a 2-minute bastion.
Wolk_ just subscribed. What is Dine Travel?
Thanks for the resub, dude. Housing is just a free bastion. Housing is always going to be fast. I don't know. It's up to you, T. Like, generally, when blinding, if you're just going for a PB, if you're not going for literally into the stronghold, you should pill high. Because digging out of a cave takes a long time, but Divine uses striders or animals or even caves as well. It's not just the fossil. There's a lot of different things you can divine with. Matthew Bolin, of course, is working on you can divine with buried treasure anywhere. So a limiting factor of divine travel is that it needs to be at 0/0, which means you need to spawn near there in the overworld, or 0/0 needs to be easily accessible in the nether. The fossil needs to generate, which only happens in the right biome and the right terrain. But buried treasure can be used anywhere, with the problem that it's inconsistent. There was it's like a between like 10 and 30% that a buried treasure can work, I think, which is far more likely than current blind travel. I don't know all the details, but he's still working on it. But divine travel with buried treasure uses like a 60,000 line sheet or something. Which won't be fun to use, but and even when it's 60,000 lines long, it still has a chance of failing. But it might be just ridiculous. And oceans are good anyway, so. And like randomly hitting a buried treasure, either with just random digs or using PIDAR. You can use Pi to find buried treasure. And then with that, you can use the coordinates of the buried treasure to know where you're blinding at or divining at, which is pretty crazy. Because that's the thing. When people see this, they're like, wow, no one's ever going to get a blind this good again. But you actually can. Like if you got like turtle divine, or even just like other animals, like striders, pandas, not pandas, polar bears, rabbits. There's a lot of different things you can divine with that put you within either like 400 or 200 blocks of the stronghold. With just regular fossil divine, there's something like I'd say like a 1%, 1 in 100 that you get a divine like this, which is fairly good odds. I've definitely blinded more than 100 times. But it's like 1 in 1,000 or 1 in 2,000 to end up in a stronghold with regular blind travel. But with a fossil, it's only 1 in 100, so it's fairly likely, really. But then with animals and everything, I've had a polar bear divine that was, I think, 87 blocks away or something very small like that. A lot of people have had very, very close to a very, very close distance to the stronghold with different types of animals. And again, this is a late blind. This is 8:04. Like, it's early, but it's late. People are having sub 7s already. So there's still a lot of room left. This run, like there's the There's the thing that everyone says of this world record is going to stay for a long time, but then it's always broken within like a week or something. This run isn't um, safe from that. There's still a very decent chance it gets beaten tomorrow or the next week or something. Even with just regular blind travel. It's just with divine. Everyone should be checking their divine, checking for striders, that kind of thing. I'm gonna have a long video. Not a long video. Hopefully it's only gonna be like 10 minutes long or something. Or even less than that. On a guide on how to divine with a whole number of things. I wanted to get it out earlier, but now it's like important. Um, yeah. And Classic's dead now. Good luck, dude. Even with 1,000 distance, there's no way you're gonna do Classic anymore. Because you could beat the old record. You can sub 11 with Classic, but I don't think you can sub 938 with Classic. With no Obsidian. So I think Classic is officially out the door. It's a good run. Everything was played properly. A lot of people would fuck all kinds of things up. Someone would probably run to a spawner in this situation. Someone would probably fuck up the bastion in a bunch of ways. Um, there's all kinds of places to mess up. He plays the end properly. It plays it just so well. It's a world record with no bullshit in it, and it's ticked out the fucking ass. It's so good. No blacksmith. No iron pickaxe. Because the problem is, dude, so many world records have had just major time losses. 1 to 3 minutes of time loss. And they've been boring in a bunch of ways, like no blaze bed or something. This run doesn't even have a blaze bed, it's just spawnerless, dude. So good.